I've just cleaned all the brakes, all of these. Pistons have been out, everything clean. There's a lot of air inside. Here's the system. One-way valve. You can just push in the reservoir and see if it works. Bubbles coming up. Yesterday I cleaned the right front brake assembly, the whole thing. Took everything apart, undid the bolt, lifted it all up and hung it up there. To stop the fluid from coming down, there's a little hole there underneath that bit of steel, and when you push the lever forward and hold it forward, that hole is blocked. So therefore no fluid can get actually out and drip out from the line. Also I pulled it up as much as I could so that there's the least amount of height. So today we're going to have a look at this part, which is the left hand part. That's completely empty by now. I've cleaned that as well, put silicone grease in it, put everything together, so this whole thing is full of air at the moment. And you'll notice that there's a brake. The plug is on the top, and we're going to put some a one-way valve in, which is this one here, and that will make air and everything else go that way but not return. And then we'll put a reservoir on this end, so I'll put this on here like that. And we'll put something in the top of the tube. Okay, so what we put in the top is just a reservoir, nothing much to it. This piece of hose is there only to hold it up, and the other one is the outflow from the one-way valve into the bottle. It's just a neat way to stop it from falling over, dropping, spilling, whatever. So just open the valve slightly. So I've now released the handle, and we're slowly putting some pumps of fluid into it, and no air bubbles are coming out so far, but that'll happen. Oh look, here's some now. You notice that the air and the fluid comes out, but it doesn't go back in. Now the real idea is to pump it very slowly, watch all the little bubbles come up, and give it a bit of time, because there's a lot of air in there. There's also a lot of air in all the lines above it, in all the fittings, and all the cable here. So we'll have a look, and you notice that the level has dropped somewhat. That's because we're filling the cylinders. So I'll add some more fluid and we'll wait for the bubbles to come up. We're just waiting for all the bubbles to come up through the line. It'll take time. Once they get there, like that, they'll just come out. Gentle bit of a squeeze. More bubbles, more pressure build up. I'll open up this one a bit and see what comes out. Oh yeah, there's a few there. Not a lot though. Yep, all fluid coming out now. Bubbles have stopped. There's still a few here. Right, of course the advantage of the little one-way valve is that it's small, so it doesn't take up a lot of fluid before it starts doing its job. So you need a very small amount, less than a cubic centimeter I'd say. And to disconnect it, I just close the valve on the bottom. I'll put some paper around it, some tissue, and pull the whole thing off, and the tissue will catch all as a little bit of fluid. And there's no spills or anything around the vent, which is going to be good. So I found these one-way aquarium valves, and I used some silicone hose. Really flexible, very good stuff, nice to work with. So this is obviously the valve by itself, and you see a little bit of fluid in there. It goes well for fluid and for air, so it comes in very handy when you want to get rid of some air in the brake lines. Probably the speed bleeders work the same, although I think this is a little bit easier because the valve action is very light, as opposed to the speed bleeders with a little ball bearing and a spring. So this is much easier to do. Plus, because this fits on just about every size bleed nipple, and so and it doesn't rust either. There's no metal parts in it. It's all plastic, and it works fine. So this fits everything. So when you're replacing the brake fluid in the bike, most people will tell you to change it in the reservoir and all the way down and make it come out a little nipple over here. But what about the fluid that's all in there? Not everybody talks about that. So what I usually do is spread the brake shoes out as much as I can, and put the brake fluid in the reservoir, then empty the reservoir. So that's brake shoes times 2, that's on the other side as well. Empty the reservoir, and then replace the brake fluid. So you clean the reservoir out, and then you bleed everything through here. That way you replace most of the brake fluid that you can get to normally. There's not a great deal left. So I think that might be interesting.